Hello, everyone. My name is Marina Ray. I am a licensed architect, and let us continue reviewing the architect registration examination divisions. So this video is about our exam number 5, or PDD, Project Development and Documentation. It's the large section, and it is similar to PPD, which is Project Planning and Design. And let us see that more in details. So when I passed all my exams, a lot of people started to ask me how I passed that and what I used. So this actually prompted me to record all these videos. And also, please do not forget to check out my other videos where I share the paid resources that I used, that I paid the free resources that I used, and they tremendously helped me in my exam prep. So let's start with the division overview. So again, there are 100 items here in this division, 100 questions, and that includes 2 case studies. So that's the common denominator in all the exams. We have 2 case studies at the very end, and they are between 5 and 10 questions each. So please be prepared, and I will leave a link under this video where I describe how to actually attack the exams, what to use, and actually what is the best way to take the exam and in what order. Also, there are links to my other videos where I cover other divisions, the PCM, PJM, PA, PPD, and CE. So all those links you can find in the description of this video. So please subscribe, please like my video, and please share that with your friends. So the test duration is 4 hours and 5 minutes, so it's a long test. And there are 45 minutes that you can use for your break. And don't forget that actually after the break, after you click that break and go have a snack or have a drink or use a restroom, those questions will be locked. So please don't forget about that and plan your time accordingly. And let's see, so we have 4 hours for this exam. So, and we have 100 questions. So if we're talking about time, please make sure that you do not spend more than 2.4 minutes per question, or actually 2 minutes, because you'll need time for reviewing, you'll need time to just click around the exam item. So just try to plan everything accordingly and do not run out of time, because this is a large division and there are a lot of questions. And again, for some of the questions, you'll spend like maybe 30 seconds, maybe less, because they'll be so obvious. But on some questions, you'll spend quite a significant time because you'll need to do some calculations, or you need to do cross-reference between the attached supplementary materials. So this division is related to the integration and documentation of building systems, material selection, and material assemblies into a project. So think about this division as your CD phase or construction documents phase. And this division will focus on issues related to the development of design concepts, evaluation of materials and technologies, selection of appropriate construction techniques, and appropriate construction documentation. And also, you will need to understand the integration of civil, structural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and other specialty systems into overall project design and documentation. So again, this is your CDs. This is your final set of construction documents. These are final specifications and final drawings that then you'll submit and they'll go out for bid. So there are 5 sections here. and we'll go deeper into detail and talk more about each of them in a moment. So the first section is integration of building materials and systems. Then section 2, construction documents or construction documentation. Then section 3, project manual and specs. Is then section 4, codes and regulations. And we see this throughout multiple divisions. We always have to check back and verify the codes because sometimes things change, right? And then the final section is construction cost estimates. So before we discuss each of the section, let's take a look at the materials that NCARB recommends. Again, architectural graphic standards is the primary reference, and I highly recommend this book. You must know the graphics from that book. You must know all the charts and all the images from that book. This is critically important for your development, for your understanding of the concepts, and in general for becoming a better architect, because those are quite common and you will be using them in your practice. And it overlaps with the PA and PPD, so definitely get that book. Same with the Building Construction Illustrated, although it's marked supplemental, it is a good book. And there are a lot of graphics. There are really, really nice section drawings and some plans and everything. So please just, go between these two books and select which actually you like. But AGS, or Architectural Graphic Standards, is the primary source for you. The next one is building structures. So it does not intersect with any division, and you may or may not actually need that because we spend a lot of time in the architectural school learning about structures, and there are not too many questions about structures in the exam. So if you really think that you need to refresh your knowledge, sure, definitely get this book and go through that. But the amount of time you'll spend on the book is not really, relevant to your exam questions. The next book is Fundamentals of Building Construction, Materials and Methods. It is a good book, although I would say it's more for the construction managers. It is a nice kind of like refresher of what you can expect at the construction site and how to prepare the documents, how to prepare the specs. It does not overlap with other divisions, and if you want to have this book, definitely get that, but it is not primary, as you can see. The next two books overlap with PPD, and those are big books. People have different opinions about these, but I think you definitely should get these books. One is Heat and Cooling Lighting, Sustainable Design Strategies Towards Net Zero Architecture. And the second one is MEEB, or Mechanical and Electrical Equipment for Buildings. So the information there is a little dry, and just if you would like to have more technical reading, definitely do that. Some people really love those books. Some people really recommend them, but I think MEEB is kind of like more important, if you please, than the Heat and Cool and Lighting. So, and some other people recommend Sun, Wind, Light and other books that are available, although NCARB does not really mention them as the reference. So let's dive deeper into our sections. So section number 1 is our integration of building materials and systems. And here you can see that the number of questions is between 31 and 37, or between 31 and 37%, considering there are 100 questions. So in here in this section, you'll focus on resolving and detailing architectural systems and assemblies, building materials and engineering systems. So there are 6 objectives here. Let's talk a little bit about all of them. So the first one is to analyze the integration of architectural systems and technologies to meet project goals. So what this means, we really need to understand how the whole thing works, how the whole project works. You need to think about the project as a whole and kind of like zoom out of your project and see what else you need to incorporate, what is missing. So kind of like be like a project manager overseeing the whole thing, like all the systems. The same with the second objective, where you need to determine the size of mechanical, electrical, plumbing systems and components to meet project goals. And actually the third objective, right, the structural systems. So basically you will have engineers working with you, the mechanical engineer, structural, electrical, and so on, acoustical, or like some other specialty systems. And they will incorporate their models into your architectural model. So when you are done with your Revit, you share that model with the engineering teams, and they will add theirs, and then you'll have coordination meetings, and then you will finalize the design and make sure that no system penetrates the other one. So that's basically what this is about. And you, as an architect, need to kind of like wear that hat and say, okay, guys, so here we have the structural beam, and we cannot have the duct penetrate in this beam. Or, for example, we need to go around this plenum and just, redo our plumbing system because this is where something else will go, right? So it's you just really need to coordinate all the engineers. This is what this division is about. Also, it is the same with the specialty systems, acoustic, lighting, fire suppression, conveying, which is our elevators and vertical moving. Then security systems. So think about the site, think about the perimeter, what you want to achieve, what your owner requires. Also, communication system to meet the project goal, to actually deliver the project that is compliant with the owner project requirements. So objective number 5 is determine how to detail the integration of multiple building systems and technologies. So here in this phase, in the CDs, you already need to be done with your floor plans, with your sections, elevations, and you need to add those detail sheets at the end and make sure that you actually detail that if there is like some special connection or some special coordination needed, so that your construction manager or GC can actually read those drawings and make sure that everything is correct, because you want to avoid multiple RFIs, and this is where you need to make sure that everything is clear, that the drawings are not cluttered, that the specs are written properly. Also, the final objective here is to coordinate mechanical, electrical, plumbing, structural, and specialty systems and technologies. And this is what we just spoke about. So you actually determine the size, and then you communicate, okay, guys, so this is what the design idea is, and let's make it work. And then they will get back to you and say, okay, we cannot make this work. We need to lower the ceiling, or we need to make sure that the slab is thicker, or something like that. So just your communication is critical as the project architect or the project manager. Let's move to the second division. Second section, and this is construction documentation, or CDs. And here I don't have it right. So it's between 32 and 38 questions, so between 32 and 38% of the whole exam items. And here you'll focus on project documentation necessary to assemble a set of drawings and update these drawings over the course of a project. So remember, this is your final construction document phase, and you need to make sure that everything is right. So there are 5 objectives here in this section. So the first one is you need to determine appropriate documentation of building design. So make sure that everything in the building is taken care of, that you include everything, you include all the people that are involved in the project on your cover sheet, that you have the drawing index, that you have everything, the jurisdiction, the codes, the basically like, map, like everything. So just kind of like brush it up and make sure that everything looks good and it's ready to be submitted to the building department. And the same with the site features. So determine appropriate documentation, what you need to do, the site plan, if you need to incorporate the utilities there, if you need to make sure that all the setbacks are taken care of. So, and check back with the jurisdiction, because they like to change things and do not really notify the project team. So you need to be the one who double checks everything. So the next objective is to determine appropriate documentation of detailed building drawings within individual architectural systems. That's what we spoke about in the previous section. So all your details need to be need to have appropriate scale. They need to include everything. And if you have your project in the earthquake-prone zone, so make sure that you include all the necessary drawing details into your set. Or if it's the hurricane zone, make sure that the wall assemblies and the roof, how the roof is attached to the wall, that is detailed and specified, because the building departments will ask for that. Or if you have your wind design criteria, so like all the zones on the roof. So just, little things like that, do not forget about them. And the exam will actually check that if you know what is required. So the fourth objective is to apply standards required to assemble a set of clear and coordinated construction documentation. Here it checks if you really know what you need to have, if you know the sequence of your drawings, right? And if you put everything together in the correct order, and check with your authority having jurisdiction, because they might have a different order that they will require you to submit your construction document set in. So it's like general, then architectural, then structural, then mechanical, plumbing, electrical, and so on. So make sure that everything is included. The fire protection is included. If there's any like interior design, that is included too. And you do not have to include the shop drawings. That is going to be separate, but make sure that you actually took care of all the requirements that the authority having jurisdiction, or AHJ, is asking you about. So, and questions will be based on that. And the final objective here is to determine impact of project changes on documentation requirements and methods to communicate those changes to owner and design team. So if there were any changes that owner proposed, because owners like to propose changes, especially closer towards the end of the construction document phase, make sure that that is documented. Make sure that you have saved all the, like, for example, email communication, because now it is official, right? That you saved everything, that you have a file of those requirements and those requests, or like you document your telephone conversation. So the exam will test you if you know that you really need to document everything. So let's talk about the third section, and that is project manual and specs. And that's a smaller section, between 12 and 18%, or 12 and 18 questions. And here you'll focus on the development of documentation beyond construction drawings. the project manual and specs. And you remember that the project manual is everything that you put on the 8.5 by 11 page. So drawings are not included in the project manual. Specs are. So here, just make sure that you know what needs to be included and how to put those components together. So 3 objectives here: identify and prioritize components required to write, maintain, and refine project manual. So make sure that you actually fulfill all the requirements of the jurisdiction, because together with the drawing set, you will have to submit other documents. And the list can vary from one place to another. So always check back. And that's just, kind of like a general rule of thumb for the practice. And for the exam, that is what they ask about. So the second objective is to identify and prioritize components required to write, maintain, and refine project specifications. So here we make sure that all the specs are taken care of, that we include everything we wanted to include. And again, that will be the project requirement, whether it's the proprietary specs or reference specs. So you need to follow that the protocol. You need to make sure that everything is compliant, and especially with the government projects, with the federal projects, that is critically important to have everything in place, because this is what the construction is going to be based on, and you want to avoid those multiple RFIs when the construction starts, and kind of like think about that in the exam as well. And also you need to coordinate specifications with construction documentation. So make sure that you refer back and forth between the drawings and the specs, because you cannot clutter your drawings. You need to have all the description in your specs and the other way around. So I'm not the other way around, and vice versa. So that will be like a cross reference between the two. And a lot of people ask, like, what is more important, drawings or specs? And we cannot answer this question, because both are important and they cannot substitute one another, because those are two different documents that go together in the construction document set. Section number 4 is codes and regulations. This again is a smaller section, and here we have between 8 and 14 questions, or 8 and 14 exam items, percent of the exam items. And here again, the NCARB states that codes and regulations appear in several divisions, but in this division, you look at codes and regulations at a detailed level and determine how they pertain to project documentation. So 2 objectives here: determine adherence to building regulatory requirements, IBC, at detail level, and determine adherence to specialty regulatory requirements at the detail level. So what this actually means: building departments or zoning departments, planning and zoning departments, they may change. And if you're working on the project that will go out for bid and then it will be constructed later, like in 1 year or so, you definitely need to make sure that you double check all the codes and regulations, because they may change. They may adopt the next version of the IBC or the local code. So this is what it is about. You need to always double check and make sure that this is going to be compliant at the time when this project is going to be built. So for the exam, just make sure that this is something you remember, that you need to check the codes and regulations even in your construction document phase. And this is the smallest section of the exam, although it is critically important, and that is construction cost estimate. And it's between 2 and 8 questions, or 2 and 8% of the exam items. And in this last section, you'll consider the construction cost of a project by analyzing an estimate. This section contains only one objective, and that is analyze construction cost estimates to confirm alignment with project design. So here you dot all your I's and cross all your T's and basically make sure that, okay, this is the final estimate, that we will be going out for bid with this amount. So, and it may change at a later date just because, you know, there can be um, some unexpected things, and that's why you have contingency. That's why you have your construction manager evaluating the whole thing. So, but we make sure that this is our final estimate as an architect. And again, when we talk about money, this is important, although there are not too many questions about that in the whole exam. So you may get 2 questions out of 100, or you may get up to 8 questions. So, but don't forget that this is important for your project success. And let's talk a little bit about our passing score. So here it's a little lower, you see, than when you compare with PPD, where I think it was between 66 and 71. Here it's between 58 and 66, although it's the same amount of questions. And out of 100 questions, all you need to answer is, you know, like 66%, or like, you know, just to make sure 70, right? Just for your for you to be on the safe side. It is not supposed to be 100%, and I repeat that in every section, but you don't know which section, which questions will be pilot questions that NCARB just would like to test on you. And make sure that you prepare well, you read all the books that are recommended, and you actually see the drawings, see your graphics, because we are visual people, and you will be asked visual questions as well. Like, for example, with the hotspot, or like you need to look at the diagram or look at the plan and determine something. And this is what we need to remember. So that was basically it. Again, if you have any questions, please send me an email, or you can leave a comment under this video and I'll be happy to answer that. Uh, Subscribe, please like my video, support my channel. I'll be more than happy to see you as one of my subscribers, and share this with your friends, because they may just start their journey towards getting licensed as an architect. And I hope this will help you and your fellow associates. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you a pleasant day and good luck in your exams. I'll see you in my other videos. Bye.